How you doing, friends? Thank you for joining us today again. Your host, Victor Sanchez, recruitment specialist here at Western Technical College, El Paso, Texas. Joining us today, the two campus presidents, Margie Aguilar from the Northeast campus here in El Paso, and we also have Mary CANO for the Lower Valley campus, the East Side campus, and later on, the CEO of Western Tech, Mr. Brad Kirkendall. Conversation about what's going on with the COVID-19 and how is it that it has impacted Western Tech, what kind of plans they have developed for the students, for staff. Please stick around. We're going to have a great informational session. Margie Aguilar, with Mary CANO, and with Brad Kirkendall, the CEO of Western Technical College. Let's get on it. I already have here the campus president for the Northeast campus, Ms. Margie Aguilar. Margie, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for having me. I'm doing great today. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing fine and staying healthy.
Thank you so much, Margie. So as you all know, we've been kind of like part of this situation in the entire world. And it was a great idea when you all decided to come together and inform the students about what's going on with the organization. But first, how are things going for you throughout this pandemic?
Well, Victor, they're going as best as can be expected. I have 6 family members at home, so you can imagine. Oh, and I also have a 5-month-old. So you can imagine how hectic it can be. We're all trying to work around each other. But I will tell you that I am grateful that we are all healthy, that we are staying safe, and also that I'm able to work from home.
That's great. That's one of the great things that we've been thinking about and talking about in all of our meetings. It's about being positive. What are the things that I can just tell you? And by the way, this is completely live. We're recording this live via Zoom, and you might hear, the UPS delivery come to my house, ringing the doorbell, dogs and all that. This is what we're living right now. This is how we have to conduct business, right, Margie?
That's right.
And so I was telling our team members yesterday on the live feed from Western Tech on Facebook that I was dealing with a lot of technology issues. That's what I was facing. Lots of connectivity. I was getting impatient. What are some of the things that you're facing at home?
It's been an adjustment, as I'm sure it's been that way for many people. I'll tell you that the hardest thing for me has been not being able to be around the students, around the employees, around people. I really have missed that, but we've had to adjust. Technically, I've always been or had the capability to work from home, so that was a smooth transition for me. I'm on the computer constantly, as I'm sure you are, Victor, because I want to be available for students and employees in case they have any questions or need my help.
If you all want to share in the comments down below, what is it that you're facing in this pandemic? That's the reason why we're here today, and I'm sure Margie is going to tell us a lot of the things that Western Tech is doing. That topic, Margie, what is it that you have learned because of this pandemic?
Actually, Victor, Western Tech already had a lot of the components in place in order to accommodate the transition to fully online. So I was very thankful for that. All of the programs at the Northeast campus were already using our learning management system, which is Canvas, in one way or another. So that really helped the process in getting us to go fully online. Some of our programs are offered fully on ground, but most of them are offered in a hybrid delivery. Some are offered in an 80-20 delivery, which is 80% on ground, 20% online. Some are offered in a 50-50 delivery. Also, Victor, a lot of our students already had a computer because we issue those when the students start school. So that made that process a lot easier. For the few students that didn't have a computer, we immediately provided them with their computer in order to accommodate them. So I would say with a few minor adjustments, we were able to transition our students and our employees to a fully online environment rather quickly. Also, it helps a whole lot that we have a strong team. We have program directors, we have faculty members, we have support staff that have been available to train our students, to facilitate training, to provide tutoring, and just to answer questions in general daily.
What is it that you think, personally, Margie, you would have done differently um, because of this crisis that was coming to us?
I can't remember in all of my years ever having to go through something like this. So we can't be 100% prepared, but I think that even as challenges came up, we addressed them as a team as quickly and collaboratively as possible. And so what I've been doing is I've been having weekly meetings with students through Zoom to hear from them, to talk about the challenges that they've been having so that we can address them. So we're not saying that things are perfect, right now and all the time, but communication is key in order to be able to address the issues that the students are facing as best as possible.
And you're right, we can't really be prepared for something like this, but I think Western Tech as an institution has done a great job. Our staff members working from home, students trying to come together for the programs that were not completely online or even hybrid. There's been distribution of loaners, laptops, et cetera, and I'm sure you're going to talk more about it. But what are your silver linings, Margie, in regards to all of these?
I would say that the silver lining for me has been to appreciate the fact that as a school and as a community, we've come together, Victor. We have, as you said, we're supporting each other, we're encouraging each other, and this is a difficult time that we're all going through, and we need that support from each other. We will be back to normal. I do believe that. And it are the programs that our students are training for will be in greater demand.
Absolutely, and that's some of the things that we have been discussing, and how these careers before were so important, and to some extent, some of these careers were kind of forgotten in a way. They were put in another plane, and now um, all of the careers in the world, whether you're a plumber, or you're a medical assistant, or a computer information technologist, all of them are so important. But especially the ones that we offer at Western Tech, those are essential right now, super essential. Margie, and I'm sure our students, some of them have asked questions, are concerned. What are those questions? What is it that you're getting back from the students at the Northeast campus?
We've had some of our veterans that have asked questions regarding their benefits since they're working fully online. And the response is that their benefits will not be affected since they're still attending school. Victor, you recently conducted an interview with the Student Financial Services Director and the VA representative who thoroughly answered some questions regarding VA benefits. Is that correct?
That's right, absolutely. And by the way, we're gonna put the link on that video. It's here on YouTube as well. It's a very great conversation. It's about 40 minutes long regarding veterans benefits, financial aid, how the pandemic is affecting or not, all of these. So I would recommend you clicking on that link if you're interested.
And I also want to say that I've been having weekly meetings with students through Zoom. So I invite all students to participate because this is when your opportunity actually to give us feedback about what you're going through, any concerns, any questions. We also have instructors join in. So it's very important, again, for us to support each other, to communicate and offer that feedback. It includes myself, the academic dean, again, the instructors, and the students from the Northeast campus. If our students have had any changes in their information to include phone numbers or addresses, it's very important that they make sure that we get that information. And they can send that information to their instructors, to their program directors, and they will route it to the appropriate people at Western Tech so that we can update that information. Because as you know, we have a notification system as a school.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to notify students about changes, about pertinent information regarding anything that we're doing, we need to make sure that we have updated information. So that's very important for students to do right away.
Absolutely, that's very, very important. So if you have changed anything, phone number, you have changed your email address or something like that, please let us know. What about, I'm sure there are people right now, and all of us are concerned about our health, our sanitation of the places. What is Western Tech, specifically in the Northeast campus, Margie? What is it that Western Tech has done to make sure everything is ready for when the students come back?
That's a good question, Victor. And I'll tell you that the school purchased special equipment even before the stay-at-home order. And so we were already going through each classroom, each office, and we were disinfecting several times a day. So that will still stay in place when we return. And we also posted information all over the building. We sent students electronic information, notifying them about the safety procedures. And so, like I said, all of that will still be in place. Now that the campus is unoccupied, we have had the cleaning crew that has been going through, again, every classroom, every office, and they're going through the disinfecting process in preparation for our return.
Mm-hmm.
As far as attendance, it is being tracked the same way as before because students are still attending schools. So if they
Right.
don't post work, they're going to be marked absent. So I encourage all students to stay on top of that and post your assignments, participate in
Mm-hmm.
virtual lectures and discussion threads, in video conferencing. In other words, keep up with your work timely. Students can reach out to their instructors through several means. They can go through Canvas, email. There's also a chat option that is available. They can reach us, the staff, through email, or they can call us on our regular phone lines because the calls will come in through our cell phones. I just thought it was important to highlight those things.
I think it's super important because not because you're at home and because we're able to work from home or study from home, that means that we're going to be exercising extra leniency when we have to be responsible. We still have to commit to what we started, which was completing our degrees.
All of our programs at the Northeast campus, Victor, qualify under the standard definition of an essential worker. We have programs that prepare students for healthcare careers and other programs that prepare students for essential related positions. So as you said, our students all fall in one way or another under the essential worker category.
Great. From health to technology to business. Can you expand a little bit more, because we're always seeing now in the commercials or with the news, Margie, the nurses, the doctors, computer technicians, truck drivers, diesel mechanics, HVAC. But I think sometimes we forget about the business people out there, whether they have their own business or they're running institutions, like even educational institutions like the universities or even Western Tech. How is business an essential part of it?
So that's a good question, Victor. So remember that business positions support companies that hire essential workers or have essential positions. So the business position supports so many different companies. And so practically every company that exists has someone that performs business functions.
There it is. And we have that as a bachelor's degree in business administration at Western Tech. I know this has been tough for everybody, Margie, And I'm sure you have a special message for the community, especially for the community of students that you represent in the Northeast Campus, Western Tech in El Paso.
We all know our lives have changed drastically due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It can feel overwhelming at times, and I think that applies to all of us, to students, to us as employees, to everyone. And so like we said earlier, we just have to support each other and encourage each other because we have to get through this together. Perhaps out of this experience, though, we will appreciate things a little bit more. Maybe things that we took for granted, and so, that we have to think about the small positive things that we can take out of this. And that is, for me, what, I appreciate things a whole lot more. Sometimes we get so busy in our days that we don't stop to look at the important things in our lives. My message to students is to continue to stay strong, don't give up, and mostly stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Margie, for setting aside some time to talk to the students. And Margie Aguilar, the campus president of the Northeast location, of the Northeast campus in El Paso for Western Technical College.
Thank you very much, Victor. And I look forward to seeing everyone very soon.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon. Mary, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, Victor, let me just start off by saying it's wonderful to see you, and thank you for having me.
Mary, on a personal note, how are things going for you and your family during this pandemic?
Thank you for asking. Quite well. We are, like all families, we are adjusting. We are simply doing what we need to do. My son is an accountant, so I know he still has to get to work, and so he's one of the few, I think, that's considered an essential worker under this purview that we've been given as far as the order goes. And got a daughter that's also going to school, and she is working and also feeling the pinch because she's a student at UTEP as well. So it's been an adjustment, but we're all doing fine. Thank you.
So if you didn't know, Mary CANO is the campus president of our Eastside campus here in El Paso, Texas. What are those obstacles that you have been facing? I'm sure you have been facing some of those.
Well, like with all obstacles, I consider them to be challenges, and the challenge has been acclimating to the change and what it brings with it. And certainly over the last several weeks, it was becoming, having to become more tech savvy. So having it, or I should say taking it from an administrator's point of view is interesting as well. But I am very empathetic with what some of our students and some of our faculty are going through with full-blown online. And it is about acclimating. We do the best we can.
Yes, indeed. And we were conversing with Margie before you were able to join us, and we were talking about the technology, how all of us now are so dependent in technology. This is gonna be the new norm, the new standard for quite some time. Of course, we're gonna be able to sometime soon bring back the students doing the hands-on. That's what they love doing at Western Tech. And so what can you tell us about how is it that Western Tech in your campus, in the Eastside campus, prepared for what was about to come and what's happening right now?
Well, I think, one of the things we saw happening several years ago was that technology was taking hold of just about every aspect of life, to include some of the very trades that are in existence right now, with HVAC, with automotive and diesel technology. We saw that happening back when, and so thank goodness, years ago, we decided to apply for a distance education application with our accreditor to become a facility that could offer distance ed. That was, for us, a saving grace because we were at least able to segue into offering online alternatives. We had some experience in that realm. We also started doing this with our medical clinical assistant program. In fact, they were the first from the Plaza campus to take on the distance education portion of the training. The new program that I think we're all so proud of because they made the turn, and that is our advanced welding program. And they've come up with some very innovative ways of presenting what can be presented online. I want to be clear on something. There's no mistake that our programs offered at the Eastside campus are predominantly hands-on. That's what we do. That's exactly what we do. All we're doing in the interim right now is presenting the portion of the training, the didactic portion of the training that can be offered online. But our goal is to get back, and we're all anxious to get back and so that we can present that hands-on training.
So there you have it with that explanation, and I hope if you're watching this, that gives you some sort of comfort to find out what is it that Western Tech is doing, because I know we're all hands-on. I'm a hands-on type of individual. I cannot wait to go back to presentations in the public and go back to meeting the students at the campus and doing all the hands-on activities, but we can't. But that doesn't mean that we stop. We continue with the opportunity of providing the students with online distance learning. I was also talking, Mary, with our IT manager, Eric Plasencio, and he was telling me how far in advance, with the support from the campus presidents, Western Tech was ready with the technology. We were getting ready with all the computers. Can you go over a little bit more as far as why is it important for them to have a computer to start working?
Right. And for those individuals that don't know, we've had quite a challenge per se. We have over 200 students that are enrolled in our advanced welding program. Many of those students didn't have a Chromebook, a laptop, a PC, and some didn't have internet service as well. So we have been tackling all of those things. And Western Tech, I got to tell you, I think has done exceptionally well. This has been a group effort and has involved so many different departments. And special thanks to the owners, our CEO, for authorizing the use of purchasing not only laptops, but Chromebooks for our students that didn't have access to that. It wasn't part of their initial book and tool list when they enrolled in school. And so Western Tech stepped up and allowed for us to issue loaners until we passed this period. It's like anything. It's always an afterthought. What could we have done differently? That's a tough one. It's, I think, to simply say we should have had a stronger infrastructure on the IT side of the fence. Well, that's where Western Tech has been working towards and achieving that end. I wish we were there, and that we, at 100%, I should say. I think more than anything, it was just maybe more training. If we could have done it a little differently, it would have been great to have had time to offer more training for our staff, in addition to our faculty.
I think this is something that's happening to all of the organizations. It's
Right.
not just Western Tech, and it makes us think. It makes us think more about the the factor, the human race factor, our world, how a lot of things are. We're coming to realize, love each other more, being more present, being more grateful, and that's one of the things that we talked to about these essential workers. And Margie was talking about how the programs at the Northeast campus, obviously, all of them are towards the preparation for them to become essential. And what can we say about the programs in your campus, Mary?
Well, let's just put it this way. Without the very people that we're training, uh, every one of them are essential workers. You've got your truck drivers, you've got the people that have to service those trucks. We've got folks that are still having to drive out on the road. So we've got the mechanics that are needed as well.
Right.
We also have our HVAC. Look at every facility here in El Paso, including apartment complexes, the very buildings that house, the school districts, you name it, everything. Those facilities are run by HVAC technicians, facility managers. There are business people. My gosh, they're still essential. A lot of them are out there still considered important to the point where they're there now. They're working. So it is every one of the trades and career opportunities we have at the school are essential. So
Absolutely.
we want to get back in the saddle and just do what we do best and provide that hands-on training.
What kind of questions the students have been asking you?
I think that the number one topping the list is, when are we going back? When are we going back? Had one student, even from the welding program, that expressed that, you can't teach welding online. Our intent isn't to teach welding online.
Right.
Our intent is to weather this storm and get you all back as soon as we feasibly can, and provide you that hands-on training as soon as we can get there. Hopefully that'll be much sooner than later. That is the number one question. None of us have an answer. But I know this much. We are looking to get some feedback from our regulators, Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board and Texas Workforce Commission. We are looking for them to make more of an announcement coming in the next few days. So we shall see. Mm-hmm. We want to bring everyone back, but we're like everyone else. We want everyone to be safe. Mm-hmm. We are not going to do anything contrary to the directives that have been given to us. But we are going to do what we can to make sure that when we bring you guys back, that you all will be safe, you all will receive your training, and you will be successful in your field of study. That's our goal.
It's important to let the students know, and we appreciate you all for joining us in this series to talk to the community and the students.
For that matter, if there's any of you that are in need of any special services right now, and that's another thing that's come up. We've had some students that have undergone some difficult times right now. Some students, I'm sad to say, have lost their jobs. Please, we can help you. Please reach out to Miriam. She is our little godsend in our student services department. Miriam, Rocio, they'll be happy to work with you, see what they can do. We have career services who also can assist any of you with some leads in the interim. We just need you to make that phone call.
And another thing that I wanted to mention, Mary, is, okay, so we have still some people at the campus skeleton crew that are essential so that we could help our community of students. The IT is one of them, super essential. The rest, the maintenance individuals that are trying to coordinate with the sanitation crew on a daily basis. Um, Going back to the essential workers, I know that Western Tech received a special permission from the mayor for us to continue with the CDT training. Can you expand a little on how was that achieved?
You bet. This was an initiative that was spearheaded by our CEO, Brad Kirkendall, and he reached out to the mayor of El Paso and literally had to remind the mayor that commercial driver training is an essential function right now for every part of this country. They are part of the infrastructure in ensuring that goods are being brought to all facets of industry right now, especially to healthcare, which has been a big issue. And so Mayor agreed, and we just had to have some stipulations in place, but we were able to offer online training because the program is 5 weeks long. So the first 2 weeks are dedicated specifically to the theoretical part of commercial driving. They have to learn the regulations, the rules, and that's approximately 2 weeks long. And we were able to provide that training online. And so we are also able to go out to the range. Our drivers, we can have one student in a cab being trained by one of our instructors. They have to wear the protective gear. And when I say our instructors, they're not both in the cab together. I want to be very clear. It's the instructor doing the advising while the student is in the cab. So, and the instructor can spend 2.5 hours with that individual. That individual is getting one-on-one training. There's no other students in the cab. When that individual is done, an instructor has scheduled another student to come in. But before that student comes in, that cab is sanitized. And there is an entire process to sanitize the cab. So that has been in place now for a couple of weeks. I got to say this on behalf of the school. I'm very proud of our faculty and staff, I'm going to tell you. I think what these commercial driver training instructors have done has been amazing. They never cease to amaze me. They've been very innovative, and they've been able to acclimate very well.
What a wonderful story, because for those individuals, especially right now, with all these opportunities out there, but also with all these people that have lost their jobs, this is an opportunity for us to adapt to the change and think, well, maybe this is another career for me, a change. And if we have that opportunity, well, Western Tech is for you to help you as well, not only with the CDT, but with all the programs that we offer that are essential. At the bottom in the description, we'll have all the information, all the links. If you, as a viewer, are interested, we're here to help you. Mary, thank you so much for this opportunity. And I know that you have a special message for El Paso, for our students, our staff, something in regards to what's going on. And we would like to hear that message from you.
Thank you, Victor. I simply want to state the obvious, that this is going to pass. You just need to know this. What we are all going through has been very stressful, somewhat traumatizing, but we are all in it together. And for our students, I simply want to say this: education is important. Some of you may feel that the easiest thing you could do is just throw in the towel. That's not a priority. And you can, but it's not necessarily the smartest thing to do, and here's why. Nobody can take your education away from you, number one. And number two is you need that education, you need that training in order to move up in this world. That's the reality, and that has not changed. So we're going to help you. This will pass, and we will be here to help you along the way.
There you go. We have had a great conversation with Mary CANO, the campus president for the Eastside campus of Western Technical College in El Paso, Texas. So as you know, it's important information that we have had here with Margie Aguilar, Mary CANO, and now we have the CEO of Western Tech joining us today, Mr. Brad Kirkendall. Brad, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Victor, for having. And hi, everybody. Glad to virtually give you guys a high five. So
let's do that. Thank you. And I know you're super busy. It's been crazy. If it's been crazy for us, I can just assume how is it that it's been going on for all of you. Before going into this conversation, more like professional conversation, I would like to ask you, how is it that you're doing personally, your family, with this pandemic?
Well, thanks so much, Victor. I really appreciate that. And I think the base of your question is really important. It's something that each of us need to be doing, is checking on, our colleagues, our friends, our loved ones, to make sure that they're doing okay. Me and my family, we're doing okay. So I'm not sure for everybody out there. I still have a relatively young family, and so we have 4 kids at home. We got an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old who's almost 6. She'll be turning 6 here in 2 weeks. And then we got a 3-year-old who's almost a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old who's almost a 2-year-old. And we have number 5 who is on his way and will be here at the beginning of June. And so we're kind of, living life, having fun. And it's interesting. My wife works from home, having me work from home, and homeschooling now 2 of the kids who were in Socorro Independent School District. It's been interesting. I think we're encountering a lot of those struggles that a lot of the families out there are, struggling with how many devices are on, the internet at the same time, and mine's running slow, or one of the kids is running slow. And so, everyone gets frustrated, but it's been nice and kind of a saving grace that we can all hop in the van and go through the drive-through at McDonald's, or order Chick-fil-A on our phone and pick up curbside, because that's our time to get out. And that's our relief from the quarantine, and just having fun together. I'll count it as a win that my wife hasn't thrown me out the window so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, that's the reason why we're starting with these conversations. By the way, like I said to Margie and Mary, thank you for setting aside some time to talk to the staff from Western Tech, and most importantly, the community of our students that make what Western Tech is. And obviously the community out there that may be interested. Tell us what's going on from your perspective as a father. Of course, you already told us some of that information. What about for the businesses out there? I know Western Tech, a higher education institution, at the same time a business. What kind of message do you have for business owners in El Paso and other cities in the United States that are going through all of this?
Great question, Victor. And I really appreciate the opportunity to answer this. All businesses are different. We're all in different scenarios, but, we have a lot of people and employees that are working for us that make us as a business who we are. Western Tech wouldn't be Western Tech without, its employees, without its students. We as a whole, we collectively as the Western Tech family are the ones who give us our own reputation. If I were to speak to the other business owners out there, it's, make sure that you are trying to keep on track of all of the different support mechanisms that are coming forward with the stimulus, with the CARES Act and the different versions of the CARES Act. So whether we're talking about the payroll protection plan or some of the other grants that are available, it's hard to identify all of them because they're targeted to specific industries. But I think you need to be prepared as a business owner, as a manager of those businesses, to really capitalize on those opportunities so that you can look out for the well-being of your employees. And that's something that we've tried to do. I got to be honest, I'm putting in probably twice as much time working from home
Sure.
than I normally do in the office. And it's because you still have all the normal day-to-day duties and responding to emails, which, I am not the greatest at responding to emails. I think everyone knows that, including you, Victor, and you'll laugh about it. But all of us need to keep on track with our normal day-to-day duties, in addition to the number of announcements and orders that are coming out, whether they're coming from the state, whether they're coming from the city or the county. But in addition to that, pay attention to the details, because the city of El Paso, for example, has got a program in conjunction with Lift Fund, which is allowing other small businesses to get loans to try and stay afloat. I also think in the state just recently announced that they have a program that's going to be $50 million set aside for business owners so that they can apply for assistance to keep their businesses up and going. That's probably one of the hardest things that we have right now, is just figuring out how to stay afloat, because we don't know when this is going to end. And honestly, by the time that this video comes out, we'll probably have additional guidance, additional news, additional orders that are going to be out there. And so make sure that you're paying attention and that you're staying on top of that stuff. It seems overwhelming at times, but look, we will get through this, and we'll get through it together. Now, there are other businesses that are still working out there, those with a lot of essential employees. And many of those employers employ our graduates. We have commercial truck driving companies, and our truck drivers are out there on the road. And I've talked with a couple of CEOs of those companies who are like, hey, Brad, can we get more drivers out there? And absolutely, they need to work with us at getting our pace, but we also want to support, what parts of the economy are still going, while still maintaining a high degree of safety and integrity within the curriculum and the education. A lot of our graduates are out there, they're working, and we need to make sure that our students know that, look, when we get to the backside of this, and currently there's a need for those students, and we're seeing that need. A lot of them are being, still being placed in jobs. And so what we're trying to do as an organization is to allow students to maintain their pace of education, so that we're not having to postpone or drastically postpone graduation for them. We want them to get out into the workforce when the workforce is ready. And many of those jobs there's still vacancies in those positions that we need to fill.
But I think one of the main things, and I think as a business owner and also as a higher institution, higher education institution that Western Tech is this conflict that we're all having, where the thing is, we still want to be productive in our society, earning a living, but some people can't because of the ordinance. And how has that been for you as a higher educational institution? What has been the challenge for Western Tech regarding that?
Well, so, I think I look at it from a couple different perspectives, but one of the primary areas was for us, look, we want to keep everybody, working. We want to keep them productive. And so it was identifying those areas of opportunity. The transition for all of the staff and faculty to start working from home, I got to say, we have been blessed as an organization where we've had some initial steps and some steps that had been taken prior to getting to COVID-19 about, restructuring the infrastructure of our IT system, about incorporating Canvas, which is our learning management system, into many of the programs that we offer. And that familiarized the students with the learning management system. It familiarized the faculty with the learning management system. Hybrid was a big push for many of our programs, and we did that in order for students and faculty to acclimate themselves to a more technological age. And so all of that has really helped and assisted in students and faculty for Western Tech as a whole making that transition. And I think what I'm most proud of is that those programs that weren't online, that weren't hybrid, that weren't using the LMS system, like commercial driver training or welding, for example, our other faculty members from other programs and our program directors and our academic deans have really stepped up, and they've worked together as a team to help acclimate the faculty and the students to going online for this temporary period of time. And I honestly couldn't be more proud. But I got to say, one of, going and looking outside of our organization, because we've been able to try and maintain and weather the storm relatively well. I've had to go down to the campus a couple times to make sure that stuff is going okay. And we're right next to El Pasoans Fighting Hunger and the food bank. And it was really disheartening to see the number of people lined up there. And we sympathize and we empathize with those who are going through struggles, who are really having a hard time right now. We want to be there for you. We want to support you all. We are a part of this community and have been for the last 50 years. These struggles are going to be temporary, and we're here if needed in the future for those that need a career change, that want to go for more stability. We're here for you now and when this ends. Whenever the right time is for you, we want to be there to assist you. And the same goes for our students that are struggling. I know that our students, they have family members and they're supporting their own families. There's a couple different relief mechanisms in addition to the normal ones. One that is specific to education is called the Education Stabilization Fund. And that is it was passed in the CARES Act. It's going to assist both schools on the operational side, because we had students, like the welding students or commercial truck driving, that they don't have computers as a part of their program, or our massage therapy students. And so we needed to acquire some computers, some Chromebooks fairly quickly. So we did that and incurred the cost in order to help students continue with their education. And so as we did that, we incurred cost. And so the federal government and the CARES Act has stepped up and will assist with that. And also, half of those funds that are allocated in the Education Stabilization Fund are to go directly for student support. We are developing how we're going to issue out those funds and those stipends. It'll be on a needs basis. And we will have additional guidance to send out hopefully this upcoming week on that. We do not have any of the funds yet. The Department of Education has not given much guidance on those funds, but at least for everyone out there to know, help is coming, help is on the way. And we want there to be the support for our students. Now, as a prerequisite for this, so everyone knows, the students have to be active and progressing in their program. And so that's one of the stipulations. So while it is hard now, while you're encountering a lot of these difficulties, keep going. I sent out an additional COVID press release to our students and our staff yesterday. And one of the quotes that I had on there, and I really like, is adaptability is about the powerful difference to cope and adapting to win. Don't just cope with the situation. Adapt to win. And when we do that, when we have that mentality, when we get knocked down, that mentality, helps us to get back up and to keep going. And sometimes we are going to encounter those stumbling blocks. And it can be mental frustration, emotional frustration. It can be economic struggles that our family is going through right now. But look, this too shall pass. These stumbling blocks that we encounter can be turned into stepping stones if we have the right mentality and if we continue to move forward and progress forward with our eye set on the goal.
It's all about being together, like you said. For the first time in my whole life, I've seen the whole world come together, being affected by one single, disaster, which is what's going on with the COVID-19. But as many other disasters have passed and we have gone through in history, this is another one that we must defeat. And I know that I'm so proud of what you all done for Western Tech when it comes to not only the staff, the technology, the empowerment of the students. And I think these messages are great for our students to know that they're not alone. You had mentioned, Brad, and I had asked this to Mary, when we were talking about the essential workers, which obviously Western Tech has, all of the careers are essential. And I had asked her if she could share with me a little bit about the CDT and how is it that we were granted permission. She gave you all the credit. So I wanted to ask you again, what is it that you had to do to make sure that the students that we have, our staff, is trying to, be out there generating these essential workers for those CEOs that are in desperate need, and we're all in need of them in the United States?
So there are a couple different avenues that we had for getting CDT, and we are still working with other programs. Look, we know a lot of our students don't come to us just for the didactic or the theory part of their class.
Right.
They come to Western Tech, and we pride ourselves on that because of the hands-on. Truck drivers being that there was a great need immediately, and we had seen some guidance from the Department of Transportation. We said, all right, well, let's go, and we worked with the Texas Department of Emergency Management, as well as with the mayor office. And so I actually, sent the mayor a text, and, I appreciated his timing of his response to me, because I know he's got a lot more to worry about and to do than I do. And so him taking the time to reach out to me, and I was in the middle of, as I'm wearing my face mask at the grocery store, and I was shopping, for my family, trying to get some of the essentials. He called me back. So I took the call in the middle of the grocery store.
Wow.
And I appreciated Mayor Margo and his leadership saying, look, these positions really are in need. And so we submitted a proposal to him where the hands-on portion of the commercial truck driver program would be, look, let's try and maintain the highest degree possible of hygiene and cleanliness that we can, while still allowing our students to progress in that program. Now, I want to make sure that everyone understands that this is on a completely voluntary basis. We don't want to put anybody, whether they be students or faculty, into a position that they are uncomfortable with. And so it was up to them. They could go on an LOA, they could, postpone their education, or they could come in and try and do it. But we've also seen that, in terms of the interest that's expressed in that program, we've seen a lot of interest. It's a short-term program. A lot of people see that there are a lot of job opportunities available, and they'd be deemed essential. And so we have seen interest in that program, but it was a way where we could continue to progress and continue to graduate students out and place them with many of the logistics companies that were reaching out to us.
Any message for our community out there of individuals that maybe they lost their jobs, maybe they're looking for a career change? Why is it that our careers could be that opportunity, and why Western Tech, Brad?
Well, I think that's a great question. Look, ultimately, everyone's got to, make their own choices and do what's best for them. But I can tell you that, the path that we're on at Western Tech is one where we're bridging the gap between employers and prospective students and students. That's what we need to do. We are bridge builders, and the whole purpose of our existence, the whole purpose of your job, Victor, of my job, of everyone's job at Western Tech, is to assist students in their training and in their education so that they are better prepared on the back end to meet the needs of the employers and to be self-sustaining and be able to provide for themselves and for their families. And we take a lot of pride in that. That's why we always talk about, we as the Western Tech family, we are a family. And for those that have, worked here, for many of those that have gone to school here, they feel that, and they feel that sense of pride when we talk about Western Tech.
And going back to the business aspect, for the business world as a business owner too, Brad, what do you think this event that we are going through, how will this change conducting the business in the future?
I think that's a great question. I do think that the majority of businesses out there are going to change to one degree or another. And this is going to be out of necessity. The same will go for us. We had started up discussions looking into innovative techniques for trying to supplement or augment hands-on training in a virtual environment. And so, while we had initial discussions, I now wish that we would have been able to move a little faster on that. But, I think we will push a little harder on that. It reprioritizes for us how to conduct business. But I also look forward to the amount of innovation that's going to come. And I think that's what we can focus on.
Great. Great.
Victor,
Yes,
I know we're kind of cut short on time. I don't know how much longer you want to do, but I do want to say that, look, we have, we're celebrating our 50th year. This is not when we had our 50th celebration at the beginning of the year. This wasn't exactly how I envisioned it going so far, right? This is not in the plans. But I do want to say that, there's a motivational quote out there. And this goes for our students, our faculty, our staff, our employers out in the community, and the community as a whole. We didn't come this far to only come this far. So think about that a little bit. It really, has some deep meaning, but keep going, keep motivated, and keep focusing on the positive in your life. Grab your kids, grab your spouse, your loved ones, just give them a hug. While you may be getting on each other's nerves, these are the people that really are your support system. Support them back, and we'll all get through this. We'll all get through together. Check up on your neighbors, check up on your friends, on your family, on your loved ones. Give a call to somebody that you haven't talked to in a couple months or a couple years. Mend some fences.
Right.
And, you'll find that this challenge, it's going to be a brief moment within the span of your life. It can turn out to be a blessing, and a blessing in disguise by mending some of those fences and relationships. And
Absolutely.
You can still progress on accomplishing your goals and what you want to accomplish.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it, my friends. Great information, opportunities to discuss many different topics from, what Western Tech is doing, the things that we're able to accomplish through the online learning for our students. Remember, we have everything here in the video, and links will be below. We really thank you, Brad, for the opportunity, for setting aside that time. Thank you very much, everybody. Stay safe. As this continues, we'll continue to provide you with additional information in series like this one. Once again, Brad, please stay healthy. Say hi to all your family from me, and the Western Tech community as well. See you soon, sir.
Well, thank you. Stay safe and stay healthy, everybody. Thanks, Victor.